What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome to a David Villa MVP squad builder. I'm going to be killing two birds with one stone here. In a video a couple of days ago when we got the David Villa SBC card, I asked you guys if you wanted to see a squad builder with him in it. And the general consensus was that yes, you did. So we're going to build a team around him today. But we're not only going to build a team around him today, we're going to build a One Nation team around him today that you are going to be able to use in the FUT Champs qualifying for the remainder of when you're watching this video up until when FUT Champs qualifying is no longer applicable. Of course, that means we have to have a Spanish team. And I haven't even built the team yet. I'm going to do it with you guys right here, right now. I'm basically going to have a look at every single gold Spanish player that I have available to me in the club. See who might be the best option. And Hesse straight away actually wouldn't be a bad option. Definitely better than Nolito and Munayin. In fact, I tell you what, we'll go with Hesse. Because I loved him in previous iterations of FIFA. And I don't use him anymore, as you can see, 0 games. And I don't use him, and the reason why I don't use him is because he's no longer in La Liga, which is obviously the league that I used most last year. Now, at right forward, I did already have, I kind of like was playing around with a few teams to build, and I built like Jesus Navas in there. I've used him on my road to glory and I didn't particularly like him. So what we're going to do is we're actually not going to use Jesus Navas, and instead we're going to use Funaki Williams. 4-star skill moves, 6'1", blistering pace, really well-rounded stats. And we'll take a look at what chem style we can throw on Funaki Williams once we build the team, and then we'll do the player instructions, etc, etc. For the midfield, there are obviously an abundance of good midfielders. Herrera will be a good one. Now, I want to build like a relatively cheap team so that anyone can be involved in this, but also a strong team that's going to actually have a chance of winning the tournament. And Herrera fits that very well. High, 6 foot, 4-star, 4-star. The only problem I've found with Herrera when I've used him is the fact that his stamina levels are quite low. But we'll take a look at that. And then in at cam, we've got some good options here. Now, Borja Valero is not bad as an attacking option, 4'4". He's only 5'9", which is a bit meh. Isco's not bad. I'm not the hugest fan of Isco. Juan Mata would be quite good, although he's 5'7" and a bit weak, doesn't have 4-star skill moves. Bojan is a very good shout, but again, very short, very weak. Santi Cazorla, very short, very weak, but does have a 5-star weak foot. So could be relatively decent. Let's have a look at the CDMs we've got. Of course, we'll have like Busquets, Iturrapse there, Garcia. I don't really want to use any of those guys. Alonso, Iborra. Iborra would be alright, but not really my cup of tea. 6'5" tall, 4-star weak foot. I tell you what, we'll go. Let's throw Iborra in the team. Let's put Herrera out on one side, Iborra in the middle, and we'll go for the cam. We'll go for, let's go for Valero. Let's see how he works. This might be the worst thing. As I said to you guys, I'm just building this team now. I haven't used it yet. We've got some good options at the left back spot. We could have, of course, used Jordi Alba. We could use Gaia. Costa's pretty good. Grimaldo, very nice. We're going to use Gaia. He's got good pace, good defending. His physical's not the best, but here's hoping that we don't require decent physical in that area. Then for the centre-back slots, again, you've got some really good shouts. You could, of course, use Sergio Ramos, but in the interest of keeping this relatively reasonably priced, we won't use him. I don't know how much PK goes for. I think he's under 10k. I'm pretty positive he's under 10k. I don't really want to use him. I wouldn't mind using this Mario Gaspar, aside from the fact that some people won't have him and thus won't be able to use him. So we're going to have to go back and look at the standard player caliber of player that we have available to us. Bartra wouldn't be a bad shout. I haven't really got many good Spanish centre backs here, have I? Spain is like, you're gonna have to like this Martinez card. We'll use this Martinez card. I don't know how much he goes for. I would anticipate about, oh wow, 50k max bin. Why are these already expired? Like, I haven't even looked at anything. How can they be expired? So he looks like he's about 31, maybe 34,000 coins. 35, yeah, he expired for 35,000. So he's 30,000 coins. You guys, I mean, you can use the regular version of Martinez. It will be very good as well. And what we'll do for the other Spanish centre-back is we will use, I might go and use PK actually. I didn't really want to use him because of that 61 pace. See, I would like to use Mario Gaspar, just because his card is ridiculous. But I don't want to like opt out of people that can't get him. So what we'll do is we'll use PK, because PK is quite cheap, and then at right back we'll go with Hector Baring. Again, we could use the Screamer Gaspar, but we're not going to. And then in nets, there's a fair few players again that you could go for. You could go for De Gea. I do have him in the club, but he's untradeable. I'm going to go for Reina. He's got a very well-rounded card. So this is going to be the team that we're going to start with. On the bench, you guys can throw on the bench whoever you want. The bench doesn't require the different nations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on all of my special SBC cards. Now, for those of you that haven't completed them, or most of them, or some of them, you can throw on the SBC cards that you want, or just the bench that you specifically want, because the bench is kind of in this area kind of irrelevant. Like, you know, subs will be subs, so we'll throw on the players that are going to be useful to us. Hazard, Jonas, Payet, Lacazette. Look at all these unbelievable SBC cards that we've got available to us. Giovinco, we'll throw Costa on there. We'll put Sterling in there, and then that will be that. So that's going to be our bench. A couple of purple cards and 5 blue cards. What a great bench that does look like. Now, for the let's start with the player instructions. You guys that have watched a few of my squad builders will know straight away what I do. You can see there in the top left, stay back while attacking, and stay back while attacking on all of the defence, basically. In this instance, the central centre midfielder, because he's your slower man, your defensive-minded midfielder, stay back while attacking will be set on him. The other 2 guys will be default, balanced attack, everything else the same. And then for the 3 attackers, we set them all to stay central and get in behind. Now, David Villa isn't necessarily the quickest, but it's still an effective tactic in my opinion. So that is how the attack works. Now, for chemistry styles, and for custom tactics I actually leave default, and I just set the defender line from offside trap to cover. However, for me personally, it doesn't make a difference because of the default tactics I use in game. But yeah, for chemistry styles, starting with Reina, I personally believe that the only good chemistry style for goalkeepers is the glove. The reason why I believe this is because kicking and speed just seem to be non-entities in FIFA. Kicking is just irrelevant. It just is how far and how accurate they can kick it. Most of the time I actually use my goalkeeper's throw to throw the ball. Positioning, handling, diving and reflexes are then the 4 important stats, because every goalkeeper seemingly has 99 or 0 speed on any given day. So the glove is the only one that gets 3 of the, in my opinion, 4 important stats. So we hit a glove on Reina. We then move over to Hector Baring. Now, on traditional circumstances, I would put anchor or shadow on my defenders, but because Baring has so much pace already, I want to give him the sentinel. I want to boost his defending, I want to boost his physical. He's now going to be super fast, good dribbling, good defending, good physical, everything you need from your right back. For Gerard Piqué, I would urge people to use the shadow chem style. You want to give him that nice big pace boost. It will get plus 12 pace on shadow, which will take him up to 73 pace. I know, I see it on forums and on Reddit and in comment section of my videos. I know some people don't personally agree that the chem styles make a difference. I do. I find them to be very, very important to my play style and how I use certain players. So I will, I'll basically talk about them as if I have my own understanding of them working. And then for Martinez, because his pace is already quite good and his defending and physical are very good, you want to hit an anchor on him. I believe he gets +7, +7, +6. So 7 pace, 7 defending and 6 physical. That's what I believe. It would vary, like, very stringently depending on certain things. And then for Gaia, like, it's an interesting one for Gaia because his defending is pretty good, his pace is very good, his physical is very low. So you could give him a shadow and just continually boost that pace and defending and just ignore the physical. Or you could give him an anchor to boost everything up nicely. Or you could, just like with Baring, you could give him a sentinel and just give him the nice defending and physical boost and agree that his pace at 88 is enough. I'm personally going to go with anchor on Gaia. I think that would be the best option for him. Now, our midfield is going to be interesting. Borja Valero, he's an attacking-minded midfielder for us. So he's got good pace, very nice dribbling and passing, and decent shooting. I don't believe personally that he needs more pace here. I would give him the Maestro chem style. If you guys have been following me on my road to glory, you know that I love this chem style. I think it's great. Dribbling, shooting and passing, enhancing those stats on central midfielders are very, very important. And for Ibotta, because his pace is already so low, to boost his pace, you'll get him up to like 66 as a maximum. which is still really slow. So I would personally give him something that's going to suit his playstyle for us, and that would be the backbone. Boost that defending, boost that physical, boost that passing, just make him an absolute monster. And remember that when you have him on the ball, when you have possession with him in game, that you don't want to be running up the field with him. You want to get the ball, steal the ball back, win the ball, and then pass it off. And then for Ander Herrera, much like Valero, I'm going to be giving Herrera the Maestro Chem style. He already has decent pace and decent physical, which is nice. You could easily give him something different there. You could give him whatever suits your need. Maybe Hawk, maybe something like that boosts his passing and his shooting only. Something perhaps that boosts his physical and his passing. But I'm going to give him Maestro as well, which is that covered. We've already got a Hunter card on Hesse, which I'm happy with. 4-star, 4-star, good dribbling. Nice pace and shooting that we've now made incredible pace and shooting. And for David Villa, some people would go for Hunter on David Villa. I personally won't. I think Hawk is perfect for him. It takes him up to 82 pace, like 97 shooting and 77 physical. I think that's brilliant. I think that just rounds him off as a striker. And we'll see how he plays. Of course, no goals yet. And then for Funaki Williams, he's another one that you've just got options for. You could give him, as the game's offered, Hawk. Boost that pace, shooting and physical. Not a bad shout. His dribbling's very nice already. His passing's decent. You could give him Hunter, you could give him Catalyst, you could give him Maestro because he's already got that pace, but we will go with Hawk and we'll boost him up there and then. So every player here, guys, is Spanish on 10 chem. This is the team, hopefully, we're able to win the tournament with this team. Otherwise, this will be a pretty failed experiment as trying to do 2-in-1. Alternatively, the main aim of this team is to see how this purple David Villa plays and whether or not he's a viable option to actually play in your team. So that is the team, guys. Let's get into the gameplay. Okay, guys, as we get into the gameplay, the first opponent we come up against has got a 180 rated team. He's got a full French team, 3 silvers in there. He's got the one to watch Hatton Ben Arfa. It's a pretty decent team, not an amazing team. The biggest problem here, as you'll see as we go into the gameplay, was the kit clash. Now, what's super interesting is on the actual kit screen, his was a very light shirt and mine was a very dark shirt. So I was like, okay, this would be alright. We'd be able to tell the difference. In game, it was just horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous, and it took me a while to get the first goal. But it was the first goal with David Villa. Is an interesting one, is David Villa. Before we get to talking about David Villa, I want to briefly discuss people that have qualified for FUT Champions playing in FUT Champions qualifiers. There seems to be like a mass debate, no, no pun intended, a mass debate over whether or not people that are already pre-qualified for FUT Champs through divisions or through getting into gold or better within FUT Champs should be allowed to play the daily knockout tournaments. And I can see the argument for and I can see the argument against. And here's my thought on it. Until EA offer us another tournament alternative outside of divisions that also give pack rewards, I personally think it's fair game. Because I don't know that the person I'm playing against here, in this game for example, I don't know if he's already qualified or not. And there's no way I can know if he's qualified or not unless I message him, but I can't message him until after I've already matched up against him, and then it's too late as to whether he's qualified or not, right? So, I think the rewards that you get from these tournaments should be fair game to everybody. Why should these rewards only be applicable to those that haven't qualified for FUT Champs? However, I do understand the fact that, you know, if you're not good enough to qualify for FUT Champs, the worst thing you want is to come up against someone who's able to get 20 wins or more in FUT Champs in this tournament, because that's relatively unfair. So I do see both sides of it personally. The logical kind of like not the explanation per se, but the logical reasoning, what I think EA should do is just make a new tournament, bring back online tournaments like they used to be, and have a mirror tournament that has the same specifications and the same rewards as the daily knockouts, but you can only play, anyone can play in those, and then you can only play in the daily knockouts if you haven't already pre-qualified for FUT Champs. Now the problem with that is when you get gold 3 or above, it says not qualified until you get the rewards on Wednesday nights. So that would still leave Monday and Tuesday and most of Wednesday where people would be not qualified. So they would have to basically come out with qualifying people instantly once they get gold 3 rather than waiting until the rewards are given. But I think that would be the fairest way about it. Other than that, don't, like, if you're somebody who like gets told don't go into FUT Champs if you, or the qualifiers if you've already qualified because you're taking the spot away from somebody else, at this point in time, I'm sorry, but too bad. It's too bad that I've taken the spot of this person, because I'm like, why should I hamper myself and my gameplay and my enjoyment within FIFA because I might take away a win from somebody who would have qualified if it wasn't for coming up against me? Because then you get to the point as, should I just give away a win every single time I play in FUT Champs? Oh, you beat that guy. If you didn't beat that guy, he would have been top 100. Why would you take away top 100 from him? Well, it's too bad, isn't it? It's FIFA. It's a competitive game mode. FUT Champs is competitive. And those that aren't good enough to qualify, just aren't good enough to qualify. And that is too bad. So, that's my thought process on the whole, you shouldn't play the daily knockouts if you've already qualified. I think it's on EA to do the right thing and to just give tournaments to already qualified people to allow them to earn rewards, and then give daily knockouts exactly the same as they have for people that haven't qualified. I think that'd be the best idea in my opinion. Now, we cruised through the first two games. We got to the semi-final and we went 2-0 down to this guy, and I was worried a little bit because I was playing decent FIFA, but I was like, okay, God, I've never played with this team before. I don't know how it's going to last in a game. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back into this, but fortunately, we got straight back into the game. Look at this finish from Borja Valero. What a strike at the near post. Unbelievable stuff. And the question on everyone's lips, like this is kind of like a double-ended video in the sense that this is a kind of a squad builder around the David Villa, a player review on the David Villa, and a squad builder for qualifying for FUT Champs. And let me tell you guys that if you've got this team, or even if you've got very similar to this team but a little better or a little worse in areas, use it. This team was awesome. David Villa was awesome. The problem I find you might have with him is his lack of stamina. His stamina levels aren't horrendous, but they do play effect really late on. And you'll see, as we go into the 82nd minute here, my opponent gets through, how he wins a header with Giuliano, and then how Reina doesn't save that, I don't know. But we went 4-2 down in the 83rd minute, and you're thinking, there's no way you can come back from this. Well, here we are in the 90th minute. Giovinco plays it to Hazard, Hazard into David Villa, David Villa shoots and scores. Yes, I bought on subs because the stamina levels of my player was super low and I needed to get back into the game, right? We talked about subs earlier on, and then even further into the 90th minute, beautiful little drag back from Giovinco, plays it to David Villa. If you monitor David Villa's fitness levels in the bottom left hand corner when I've got the ball with him, you will see he is absolutely dead on his feet. And that's a problem, and that's a problem in if you take him into FUT Champs. I think he will be in a position where he won't necessarily cost you games, but he will definitely cost you goals. Like if you're 3-0 up and you don't score with him because he's too tired, that's not a problem. But if it's 1-1 and you break clean through with him, and because of his low stamina levels and his poor, like not poor pace but low pace, it could potentially be the reason why you didn't nick that win, or you didn't get that equaliser to take it to extra time or something. So I would say he's great for your casual games, for your knockout games. He's fantastic for division games. He's great. I actually used him on my road to glory in Division 2 and ended up winning Division 2 with him at the helm. He scored quite a lot of goals, and actually for me here he scored. That was his 9th goal in 3 games, with I think 4 assists as well. So he does a great job, right? He does a great job. However, if you consider going into FUT Champs with him, I would say be wary of his fitness levels, be wary of his stamina, be wary of his pace, and also be wary of the fact that if you do apply Hunter on him to try and get that extra pace out of him, you are wasting shooting stats. Hawk, in my opinion, is the much more efficient chem style, so I would go ahead and use Hawk personally, as I did here. His finishing is brilliant, like brilliant. The fact that he's got a 5-star weak foot. One of my favourite players in FIFA this year is Heung-min Son, the Player of the Month version. And the reason why I love him so much is because his 5-star weak foot. The low-driven shots are a blessing in this game. And Heung-min Son could just bang them in because you could do it with either foot from any angle. David Villa is exactly the same. So what I would suggest is to use David Villa as a super sub if if you've got him on your team and you're looking for like a good person that you're going to sit there and think, okay, how am I going to get the best out of this card? I think he would be amazing as a super sub, as either a centre midfielder, bearing in mind he is 5'9", so he won't be able to win you headers if that's what you use centre midfielders for, but as an attacking minded centre midfielder, as a cam, I think he'd be great. On top of that, if you brought him on as a striker, then I would say if you use him as a substitute, I would say put a Hunter Chem style on him, because as a sub he only gets 6.4 chemistry, I believe, or 6.2 chemistry, 6.25 chemistry, something like that. So he still gets a boost, but not as much of a boost as if he's on 10 chem. So I would suggest using a Hunter card on him there, so he comes on, fresh legs, quick, not like exceptionally quick, but quick enough to get in behind, especially against the tired legs of tired defenders. And then his finishing is so good that you're just going to obliterate any goalkeeper from basically anywhere within the 25-yard range. I didn't really get to test out his finesse shot too much, like his regular finesse shot. I only really kind of hit the low drivens with him, a couple of tap-ins and stuff as well. But in general, I didn't really get to abuse his finesse shot. My opponent in the final, ended up rage quitting. He brought on David Luiz inform, Arturo Vidal, and Ian Robben as subs for those bronzes and whoever that midfielder he had there was. And I just thought it was quite funny because he was a pretty decent player, not going to lie. And I thought maybe he's like already qualified as well. I would have, if I had to guess, I'd say he's qualified and he was just going for the prizes. So as soon as he realised that he was not in the way to really get into the game or back into the game with 15 minutes to go, he quit. And I find that strange because when I was 4-2 down against the opponent that scored his fourth in the 82nd minute, although I had resigned myself to probably not winning that game, I didn't give up, and it paid dividends. My opponent, he got sloppy, he didn't defend properly, he let me back in, I scored 2 goals in the 90th minute, and I ended up winning the game 7-4 after extra time, so I was happy with that. In our 5k pack that we got for winning the tournament, we unfortunately didn't get anything, but to take one more look at the squad, guys, is this squad good enough to win in Foot Champs? No. Don't take this squad into Foot Champs. Take this squad into the tournaments for Foot Champs. You can definitely use this in the low-end divisions. Probably I'd say anywhere up to sort of like Division 4 and Division 3, this team will be effective. But once you start coming into Division 2 and 1 against those super teams and super players, you're really going to start to struggle. But the team in itself was fantastic to play with. I thoroughly recommend it to those of you that don't have many finances and are just looking for a good, strong team. This is the one for you. This is going to be the end of the video though, guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.